Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the session. In the previous session, we looked into the HTML tag for the tables and how to use the table. And we looked into the table HTML tag, then how to create the rows in the table, TR, how to create the data cells TD, how to provide the heading for the particular table, and a little bit of styling how we can incorporate, and additional the call and the call group. We looked into caption. Those things will help us in making the web application more accessible, and also we looked into other t head, t foot, all those things can be used. And also we understood how the need for the table representation is like we have many time data which is represented in a tabular format. A simple example is a calendar or any kind of financial data. So we need that one. And also tables for over a period it has been used as a layout for creating the layout for the web applications. Now we will see what are the styling that we can apply on top of the table HTML. In HTML5, it is left to CSS. The styling is left to the CSS. However, legacy support for deprecated HTML attributes still exist. So whatever is the legacy support was there for the HTML table, those attributes are still they are supported. Example is width, height. If you want to set particular width or the height for a particular cell, yesterday we saw some examples. By default the width would be the content size. So if the content is more, width is more. If content is less, width is less. That is how by it is the default nature. If you want to have a fixed width, you can use the width and the height. Cell spacing, for adding space between every cell in the table. Yesterday we saw the example where we gave the formatting for the TD, and it was showing the spaces in between those cells. If we want to have control that particular spacing, then we can use the spacing attribute. Okay, let me open up that example, and then it will be much clear. All right. So yesterday we saw a couple of example, basic table 4. Now this is one example. Uh, this is the cell spacing. So in between two cells, that is called as a cell spacing. If you want to control that particular spacing, you can use this particular attribute, cell spacing. And cell padding. What is cell padding is, if you see by default there is a some space between the border of the element and the content area. If you want to control that particular spacing, you can use the padding. So it will give the distance between the border and whatever the content is inside. So by default, if you see here, to the left there is a padding. This padding is because there are other values or the other cells which has more information. And if you see, this is the default padding is 0. This one shows the default padding. Okay, here the default padding on the left is 0, on the right according to the whichever is the largest. If you want to control that particular space between the content and the border, you can use cell padding. And this is for setting the background color. If you want to set any background color, you can use the bg color to set the background. If you want to set a any kind of a image for the table element, background image, okay, you can do that using background attribute. Align, it will indicate the what kind of a alignment should be there. Right now what you are seeing here, by default, since the space is squeezed, we will not be able to understand what kind of a alignment is here. If you want to specify alignment, okay, then you can do that, either left aligned, right aligned, center aligned. Those alignment you can set using the align attribute. Okay, borders styling, table, how to style the border. Yesterday already we saw this example. If I open this particular example, let me open the fifth one. This is the fifth one. Let me open the source code. All right. So if you see here, already I have table and border. Let me remove the TD. So we will start with the basic. So here, if I want to give the border for the table, so how I can provide, this is the HTML selector. Then inside the curly braces, I will have a border colon. This is the solid line, thickness 1 point, and color black, and ends with a semicolon. So that's why you are seeing a black border for the table. If I want to do that using our code, I will say table border solid 2pt black. Okay, just ignore for now these two things. Those things I will show you when it comes. So this property will be applied to this table. So I have saved it. Just I will refresh. Now you can see we have a border. And if you want to change the color, you can do that. If you want to set it as green or blue, whichever you want to set, change it, save it, and reload the HTML. Now you can see green. If you want to increase the thickness, just to make it more visible, I make it as 20 pt. So you can see this is the border. So that is how we can apply the styling to the border. That is the first. Second one is we have we added a TD. So here we had table, then we added a TD, and for the TD also it is the same border solid 1pt 1 black. So instead I will add TD here itself. Okay, we can have comma separated. I will include TD here. I will save it. After adding TD styling, you can see this is how you are getting the formatting for the TD. So formatting for the TD is solid line 2pt and green color. So green color. If you want to have a separate for this one, you can do that one also. Let us have a separate for TD. I will remove TD from here. We will use a separate styling. I will say this is blue color. I saved it. You can see the outer table is green, the inner they are in blue color. So that is how you will see this style. Then we have for the table, right now we are seeing a table like this. Normally we don't want to see a line for the each of the these cells. Then we can do the collapsing of those borders. Then we will see it nicely. The property for that is border hyphen collapse colon collapse semicolon. That is applied for the table. I will add that particular style. Border collapse. I will save it. Border hyphen collapse. So border hyphen collapse colon collapse semicolon. So we have that one included here, and I have saved it. I will reload the page. Now you can see the collapse property will join all the lines. Now you can see the table very cleanly. Now next, padding. So as I said, we have used the padding inside the TD. So TD is what? TD is this data cell. This padding will be applied to the left, top, right and bottom. So right, this is default padding because one of the value is more, that's why you will get this padding. Otherwise these are the default values, and for this is 10 pt, which is the largest value. So I will say padding 10 pt. For this TD I will add it. I will say padding colon 10 pt. I will save it. So before I apply, just see in the cell, right? You are seeing there is no padding. As of now, there is no padding. Already I have applied the change. I saved it. I will reload this page. You can see the padding. Now there is a space between the border and the content area. That's why we are going to use that padding property, the padding property. Okay, so that you can give a space between the content and the borders. And similarly here, border spacing. For the table we have a border spacing. We can use this particular property as a border spacing 10 pt. This will not work when we have this particular property collapse, right? I will comment this. I saved it. Remove that. Okay, this is wrong. You can see the border spacing is applied. The border spacing 10 pt. I will just make it as 30 pt so that visibly it is, we can make out how that change is applied. Okay, border spacing. Let me remove those properties just to avoid any confusion. And this is fine. I save it. So you can see that change. So why I removed that is some of the properties we have to be very careful. As you understand how what style will be applied, there is a certain hierarchy. Okay, we read about that hierarchy. Then specificity is there, then location, all those things will come into picture. So whenever you are applying any CSS styling, go in a sequence. So whatever the changes you want to see, that apply one at a time. So this is for example, I had included everything, but you have to go one by one. So that is how we can apply the border spacing. Border spacing will give the spacing between these individual cells. You can see it clearly here. I made it as 30 pt, 30 point. So that's why you see lot of spacing. If I make it just as just I will remove 30 and I will make it as 10 pt. You can see, or I will make it as 15 pt, half of that. I will, now you can see the spacing has reduced between the sets. So according to your requirement, you can use these particular properties. Now next is styling tables. For the table we have font hyphen size. So you can specify what should be the font of the particular content. That would be here, it is specified as 0.8 em. So 0.8 em means what? It would be if the font size of the parent is 10 pt, okay, then this would be 8 pt or 80% of the parent. So it is a this is a relative measure. It is not an absolute measure, it's a relative measure. Then font family, these are the font family we can have. Then border collapse. Collapse we already saw. What is a border collapse? If there is any separate border for the TD, then it will collapse and it will make a common border for all of them. Then border hyphen top. You can see border hyphen top will make the top border, okay, with this style. What is the style? 4 pixel, that is the thickness. Then solid line, and this is a hexadecimal color represented in a hexadecimal, and which looks like a little yellowish. Okay, that is the color. So we cannot make out what color it is from the hexadecimal. So you can this hexadecimal number is given. Then border underscore bottom. So I'm only styling the top of the border and bottom of the border. Bottom of the border is 1 pixel solid white. So here there is a 1 pixel solid white. Caption, this is the caption what we have on top of the table is the caption. The font weight is bold, it will come in a bold color. And padding, so this is padding, this is left, top, right, bottom. So that is the padding we have given. And em, you know, it is a relative, it is with respect to the parent. Text hyphen align, left aligned, you can see this particular caption is left aligned. Text hyphen transform, uppercase. So the caption is represented in the uppercase. And border hyphen top, 1 pixel solid and some other color. So if you see here on top of this caption there is a line here, that is 1 pixel solid and this particular color. Let me see, I have that example. Okay, this is different example. Okay, I have this particular example. Let me see the how it shows on the browser, and then we will look into the source code. So this is basic table 7.html. Okay, this is the example we have. So here example, and this is the source code. Let me minimize this. So this is the page, and this is the style. Okay, table, so it is going to apply. So if you start from the top, we have html, then we have head. Okay, the spelling, let me correct, head. And inside the head, this is the start of the head. Bottom of the head is this one. Okay, I changed it. And so first we will go through the what is the content of the html. We have a table, right? This table, beginning of this table is here, and end of the table is here. Inside the table, what we have the caption. So this is caption, 19th century French painting, 19th century French painting. Now don't worry about the styling. We go back to the styling in the style tag. Okay, just we will see the content. Now after that, I have a column, class, artist name, then column group. Yesterday we saw how to apply the styling for this column and as well as the column group. You can refer to the previous video. Then we have the T head, that is the T head. Inside that T row, I have artist, title, year, artist, title, and year. Again, we will see the styling. There is certain styling applied for that. We will see how that styling is coming. Then we have a footer, T foot, inside that one row. Then the first TD is spanning 2 columns, and total number of paintings and 3. Total number of paintings and 3. And then we have the body. And I told you, even though T foot is just after the T head, the T foot will be automatically, it will be the last row. When we have the T foot HTML tag is used, it will automatically shown at the end. This is the T body, beginning, end. There are 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. So this is second row, this is third row. First row I have 3 TD, again here 3 TD, again here 3 TD. Now we will see the styling, how the styling is coming from. First, the table itself, font size, it is relative. I told it is relative to the parent. Whatever is the in this case, the parent of the table is body. Whatever is the browser default, it will take 1.2 times that one. This is the font family, border collapse. Okay, then border top. See, this is the table. The table starts from here. Okay, this complete is the table. This is complete is the table. And for the border hyphen top, I have 5 pixels solid yellow. You can see this is 5 pixels solid yellow on the top of the border. Border bottom 3 pixels solid silver. So you can see this is bottom 3 pixels solid silver. Let me make it as, instead of silver, let me make it as black, so that visible difference you can see. Okay, I saved it. I will reload the page. You can see it is black. And text align left. All the text inside this particular table is aligned left. So you can see everything is aligned left, or you can make it as just if you want to change and see how it looks, we'll make it as right or center. I saved it. So you can see everything is aligned to the right now. So whichever alignment you want, you can do that for the table. Now caption. What is the caption? This is the caption. And that caption is having a content of 19th century French paintings. For that I am providing the styling. The font weight bold, as you can see here, it is in bold. The padding, these are the padding that is given with respect to the 4 borders. Text align left. Okay, so text align this. So sometimes it gets overridden. That's why I said whenever you are using the styling, you have to go in a sequence. The location also matters. Okay, we have to see. Okay, the text alignment, right, border hyphen top 1 pixel solid green. So on the top you can see this is 1 pixel solid green. Just I will make it as 3 pixels so that it is visible for you. I saved it. So 3 pixel on the top. Then text transform uppercase. So all this text, if you see in the HTML document, it is not in the uppercase. So it is not in the uppercase. Using the CSS, we are making this to be represented as a uppercase. And for that, the property that is used is text hyphen transform and uppercase. Then T head. What is T head? This is the T head where you are seeing artist title year. Let me make it as left so that more content is visible. Text head background color silver. Only thing what is applied is background color is applied here as silver. So if you want to change, you can say change here. Then th th is these elements. Okay, for that only padding is specified. If you see, there is a little padding. Okay, so that padding is applied so it is 0.75 em, that is 75% of the parent. Then we have T body. So this is the T body. 1, 2, 3 rows are T body. For that T body TR, this is the background color. Okay, it is represented in a hexadecimal number. And border bottom 1 pixel solid white. Okay, it's very difficult to see the white. I would say blue. And I will save it. So you can see every earlier it was white. Okay, now you can see the blue. So now I will make it as white. Then you will understand how it is showing. And I will make it as 2 pixel, little bit thicker. So you can see there is a line here below each of the T body TR. Then body TD. So TD is the content. Whatever the content you are seeing here, that content we are just setting the padding property. Any questions? Let me know. Okay. So here, this we already covered. In the same HTML, I have considered all these use cases. So T head TR will be applied to the T head and the TR. So if you where this particular style is applied, the HTML document, it will look for the T body and descendant TR. So we have already learned about that selectors, how those are selected. So T body and TR, T body descendant TR, it will be applied to this T body and next TR. So T body and descendant TR, that property will be, that style will be applied. Similarly, T body and TD, it will look for T body, inside that it will look for the descendant TD, and T body TR, similarly this will apply. Nth child, nth child styling tricks, hover effect and zebra stripes. So this we will see with the example. I think it is next HTML basic. Okay. Okay. Table, basic table 8.html. I will open that source code. This is the right click. Okay. Now we will see this one. We have a table. First HTML document. HTML document is exactly the same. There is no change. We have table. It has a caption, and inside we have T head. Three TH are there with artist title and everything. T foot is there, which is exactly same as before example. T body, 3 records are there. So there is no difference in the HTML document. Only difference is in the styling. The way it is represented is different. First one, you can see I have table. First one comes the caption. For caption, I do not have any kind of a styling. So it uses the default given by the browser. In this case, Chrome browser. Whatever is the Chrome browser default setting for caption, that will be used for the caption. Next, for the table, I have specified font size. This font size is 1.2 times the parent default. Then this is the font family. These are the fonts that will be used. Whichever is the available, it will use in this order. Then border hyphen collapse, border top 5 pixel solid yellow. This is 5 pixel solid yellow that we already saw. Border bottom 3 pixel solid green. This is the table border bottom. Okay. And text align left. All the text is aligned left in their respective content area. Background color silver. So you can see background color is silver. Now T body, this is the property that we have nth child. T body TR colon nth hyphen child and even. So what it will do is we are changing the background color by default. Suppose let me remove this one. I will remove this. Okay. I will save it. Then okay, now we see, now it is correct, right? Earlier background color silver, we were seeing some white strips. Now table has a background color of silver. All the records are shown with the background color of silver. Now I apply the nth child styling. So T body, this is the T body. How many records are there? Here there are 4 records. Okay, let me see how many are there. T body 1 2 3 4. Okay, for the sake of because we have odd and even, I have taken 4. So we have 4 So this is T body. T body 1, 2, 3, 4. Inside this T body, this is the first TR, this is second TR, this is third TR, this is fourth TR. So T body TR colon nth child even, okay, means what? Whatever is the even child, okay, that background color we are changing to white. Now I applied this, I will save this HTML and I will reload this page. Now you can see the first record, second is the even number. Now you can see the color, background color of that one is changed. Clear? So every second and fourth, this is the even number. Even number will be changed to the white color. Suppose if you don't want even, if you want odd, just say odd and save it. Now the first and third should have a background of white. So first and third are having the background of white. So this is T body TR nth child. Next is hover. Hover is what? You must have already noticed whenever I am moving the cursor over T body TR, color is background color is changing, isn't it? So next property is T body hyphen TR colon hover. Okay, when you say this some background color is specified here. Okay, background color black. So when I hover, whenever uh, uh, we hover the mouse over the T body TR row, it will automatically change the background color. So if you see here, now it has changed the color, isn't it? So we can use the hover property. You can say this instead of this. See, I change the background color of the hover to yellow. That's why you are seeing yellow. Whenever the cursor moves on top of that TR, then the color, background color changes. So this is the hover and the nth child odd or even. This is how you can have a zebra stripes. So you might choose any colors, alternating colors. So it will give a pattern. Okay, zebra pattern it will use. Next, introducing forms. So first thing is what is a form? So for what we have seen is styling. Okay, we saw first one is all the HTML elements, then how they can be painted or how can we style them on the web browser. Now the third thing is if we want to interact with the web browser, all the applications until now or the examples until now, what we saw is just we are displaying some kind of a information, right? Some painting information is displayed, some images are displayed. This is a static information that we were painting on the browser. Now if we want to interact with the web browser, how we can interact is using the form. Suppose you want to submit any data to the server for certain processing, then we have to use the what is called as a HTML forms. Forms provide the user with an alternate way to interact with the web server. So it provides an alternate way to interact with the web browser. And what all the forms can include? Forms can include text inputs. So whatever the textual data you have, you can input that. Password input, suppose you are trying to log in, you are making your application to be accessed only after entering a valid user ID and password, then you have the password input. So password input, whenever you are typing there, those characters are not shown. That is a password input. In text input, whatever you type on the keyboard, that will be displayed. Then options list, radio and checkboxes. So if you want to have option list or a radio buttons or the checkboxes on the form, you can include all those things on the HTML forms. This is the simple form. So form method, this is how it will look like, the HTML form method get action process.php. So this is the beginning of the form, this is the end of the form, and every form has a action as well as a method. We will understand what are those a little bit later. Method, you must have heard about the get and post. Those are the most frequently used methods, get and post. And action, this is the nothing but resource on the server where this data will be submitted. So this is the, in this particular case, process.php. On the web server, this data will be provided to the this resource, and it will do the actual processing. Then this is the field set. It will group it, group the all the fields. Then legend, legend, the field set will group the all the fields. Legend, you can see, you are seeing details, the content and details, and it provides a border. This is a legend for the form. Then label, you can see this is the label. Then this is, it is a text input box. Then it is inside the paragraph. Then next we have the country label. Then we have, this is a option list. We have a drop down here, and there are list of values, different values are there. You can select those values. How that is done? Using the select. Okay, select and using the options. Name of this particular control is where. Okay. Name of this particular control is title. And what are the different options that will be provided between the select tags? This is the opening select tag, closing select tag. In between you will provide all the options, and options are given with opening option tag and the closing option tag. In between, whatever is the content will be displayed as an option. Here we have, first one is choose a country: Canada, Finland, United States. Paragraph closes here. Then we have input type submit. So this button, this is created by this particular input, and this is the close of the field set, and this is close of the form. I will show you the example. So this is the basic form. We will open the code for that. So HTML document, inside that we have a head. Maybe it is cut and paste error. Inside head we have a title, basic form, that you will see here as the title, basic form. Then we have the body. This is the starting of the body, ending of the body. Ending of the body is here. And inside that I have a form. This is the beginning of the form, and this is the ending of the form. Inside that I have fields, and using field set I group them. This is the beginning of the field set, closing of the field set. Then I have different fields and labels, things like that. Then I have the legend, opening tag, closing tag. This is the how I get. Okay, you can say user details or details, whatever that content you want to provide for that legend, you can provide. I would say user details, and I reload the HTML. Now after legend I have a paragraph, and in this is the opening of the paragraph, closing of the paragraph. I have a label. Label is what, whenever you want to get any input from the user, you will provide a label so that user will understand what needs to be entered in that particular text box. So here after the label I have a text box. So I will come to know what should be entered here. So I have to enter a title here. Similarly here the label is enter password, so I will enter the password. All these are called as a labels. So every input should be having a one label. So first one is the title. This is the title, label, and input. What type of input it is? It is text, so it will take any textual entry. And name of this particular input, whatever the value you are going to give. Let's say I Central Park. this value will be stored against this title. You can just imagine title is similar to a variable. So once user enters a value here Central Park text is assigned into this title. Okay, title, you can just imagine it's a variable. That variable will be sent to the web server, and content of, or the what value that is stored in that particular title variable is what user has given, that is Central Park. Next paragraph, label enter password, input type password. So you can see earlier type was text, here password, and name of this control or the variable is pwd. Whatever user gives the value here, that is here, that will be stored in pwd. Suppose if I give some value here, so you can see we will not be able to make out what the character that user is entering. Then I have a label text area. This is the text area. And text area, how we can create that text area is using the text area control. If you see here, input type text, in this type of a control we can enter one line of a data. Here we can enter multiple lines of a data. Suppose you have a certain paragraph to be entered as a input, you can use the text area. Text area, rows is equal to 3. We are specifying rows is equal to 3. That's the rows it is displaying here. Then we have a search. Input type is equal to a search. Suppose you want to use this particular control for performing the search, then you can include it as a type as search, and the name given to that is srch. Whatever is entered here, okay, that will be stored in a variable called srch. Then I have email, label email, and input type email. There are more than like around 30 plus input types are there. Okay, we can look into the standards given. There are a lot of types are there, and for specific need of any type of a data, we can use those controls. For example, if you want to get an email, you can use the input type as email. So what is the advantage is some of the validations are already taken care. Okay, automatically it is taken care along with that control, so that you don't have to do those validation. You don't have to write the JavaScript, or you don't have to write any validation on the server side. It is automatically done. Input type email, name of that variable is my email. So here, for example, I will say GG, and I will try to submit. You can see here, please include an @ in the email address. The message is shown. Means I did not write a single code for doing that validation. So it is part of the standards. So automatically it will be validated. So you can see as a tooltip it is showing. Let us say I will say @ I will use, again I will say submit. Again it is saying it is incomplete because something. So email would be in the style certain name @ of a domain. So that is what it is looking, and automatically it will do that kind of a validation. We need not include anything. Now it won't give any error. Next, email is done. After the email, I have a label country. This is the label country, and I have this select control. So whenever you want to have multi-option control, you can use the select. Then inside the select, you can provide the options. So this is the beginning of the select, and for this drop down or this control, we are calling it by the name where. So you can just assume that this is whatever you give the value, that value will be stored in where variable. Then what are the options I have? First option, choose country. Second option, third, and fourth option. These things will be shown as a drop down. So if I click here, you can see choose a country, right? And all the options will be shown here. So let us say I select United States. Then this is the end of the paragraph. Next, I have the input type submit. So input type submit is nothing but a button. It's a submit button. What it will do, it will submit this particular form to the server. So let me add some information here. All the values are given here. Now I will click on submit. You must understand this. I'm running it as a just a HTML on this folder. This form has to be submitted to the server. I'm not running this as an application. So right now it will give a error because there is no server side. That particular examples we'll see later. As of now, it will give a error. So it will try to submit, and it will give the error. The file could not be accessed. That is the error. But what you can see here is it tried to call this one. I will open a notepad, or I will show the notepad plus. I will copy whatever the URL. I copied this URL, and from here I will say enter. So I just, this is the location of my HTML. You can see it tried to call process.php. Process.php, where is this? You can see in the form we have action process.php. So it is trying to call that, and after the question mark, this is called as a query string. What we have title, then we have password, then srch, then my email, then where. So if you see here, I will show you the form again. In the form, what I have in the form, I have first one is a text box. Okay, just I will go back. So how many controls I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see here this name of first input is a title. So first one is title is equal to Central Park. I told you, and this is URL encoding. The space is not sent, instead of plus. That is the encoding that we do. Title is equal to Central Park. PWD, that was the next control. This is the PWD. Okay, PWD, you can see where we had name is equal to PWD. What user gave PWD, just I had typed the some values. Similarly, whatever is entered in srch, whatever entered in the my email, whatever we entered for the drop down is stored in the where United States. This particular information is sent to the server. If you see, it is the value, sorry, this is the key and the value pair. It is very similar to that. These are the controls that are available on your form, the name given to those controls and values given by the user. So it will be sent as this pair separated by ampersand. It will start from after the question mark. It will be separated by ampersand. Okay, all the values will be sent as a one string, that is called as a query string. This is how it will pass the information to the server, and this is the how it is done in a get method. So this particular method is, it is a get method. Now just I showed you after submit what happened. After submitting, what happens? So you are the user, you are accessing the application. First you will request the URL. Okay, first I click the HTML and I hit the enter. So first what I did, this is the first step, is like this, and I'm looking for certain HTML. So I type that HTML, I hit enter. This is the request gone to the server. Right now my example, this is not making a request to the server, it is just a local folder. In this particular example, whenever you host this particular HTML on the web server, you request that HTML, the request will go to the web server, and web server will respond. Okay, it will respond, it will return with a HTML document that will contain the form, whatever the form you have given in the HTML document, that form will be returned, and the browser will display it. Now we got that form, and this is displayed. Once this is displayed, user will fill the all the information. What we did, we filled all the information, and after filling the information, we clicked on the submit button. So when we click on the submit, all this data as a query string, I shown you as a query string, this is the query string, it will be sent to the server. So you can see it will be the user's form data is sent to the server within the request. Once it goes to the server, there is a PHP action.php. You remember we have a action attribute there. We had a PHP. It will give the data to that PHP, and some kind of processing will be done. This request is usually for some type of a server-side script that will process the form data, maybe storing into the database or doing something else, whatever it is given to that particular process. Okay, that is how the forms will interact with the servers. Later things we will see in the next query string. Already I talked about it. We will see it in detail in the next session.